Hey, this is the Lance Wallnau Show. Today I've got Mercedes Sparks with me and James and Canada Fortune, who are pastors. And also they happen to have some real key insights working with them on the Courage Tour. I found them to be a wealth of knowledge in terms of the Level 10 Matrix and the healing revolution that's happening, that's producing phenomenal, almost virtually miraculous testimonies with what God's doing. And as a matter of fact, I think we'll start the show with Canada's testimony because today was the first time I got to hear it. I don't want you to miss it.
We are pastors. We pray for people. We believe in divine healing. I was believing for my healing, for my body, but I also had our 3 children. And having 3 children, your body goes through some different things and degeneration, right? So I had experienced a lot of degeneration just in the time of having my children. And I ended up having, in my 40s, 5 years of debilitating neuropathy pain in my feet. And it was kind of numbing in the toes and then shooting, burning, fire, electricity pain in my toes. So bad that I couldn't wear my high heels anymore. And that's a tragedy. And then I couldn't even wear tennis shoes sometimes because I couldn't work out. I couldn't walk. I would get to the point in my day, and this was over a 5-year period, to where I just had to stop everything I was doing and take a break and not do anything else for the rest of the night. If there was no one in my home to help me get to the restroom, if I was to that point already, I had to crawl to the bathroom. Wow. That's pretty embarrassing. And I was at home by myself, had to crawl to the bathroom to get there in my 40s. So I had a lot more degeneration going on in my body than I had realized. And so by finding out about this therapy, I was like, sign me up. I'm getting this now. I want to prevent anything else from happening, right? But to my surprise, after getting therapy, so a couple of things that were happening is the neuropathy in my feet for 5 years. But then I also had been in a car accident about 1.5 years before getting therapy, which left me with constant pain in both shoulders. So I was, hopeful that that might help these things because I had already been to different therapies and different, doctors for help. And they were only giving me about a 2-week period of relief, and that's it. So I was living with constant pain, which there's a lot of people in pain. When somebody can't even finish going to the grocery store and get home and put their groceries away without pain, that's unacceptable in my opinion. And we have a lot to do for God. We've got a big race to run. Yeah. So we've got to be healthy and we've got to be vibrant and we've got to be on our game, right? So I get therapy. And within 3 hours for me, doesn't happen this fast for everyone, but for me, I had cold tingling on the bottom of my feet. And I thought, I wonder what's happening. And what was happening was I no longer had pain in my feet. I was able to start wearing my high heels again. I was able to start hiking and walking and doing all the things all day long with one pair of shoes.
No more crawling to the bathroom.
No more crawling to the bathroom. This is correct. And that was 3 years ago. No pain in my feet. So for me, if it was only that was tremendous. But here's what also happened. This does not help when you can still get hurt. Okay. You can still fall and hurt yourself or whatever. Well, I tore a rotator cuff 2 weeks after getting therapy, but instead of having to, make the phone call and go to the orthopedic surgeon like my doctors had told me to do, which I was going to do that, but I was getting ready for my son's wedding. So that was not the timing for me. I had to wear my arm in a sling. I was in excruciating pain, but within 5 days, the rotator cuff healed itself. My body healed itself in 5 days, and I had absolutely no pain. The pain just lifted off my shoulder, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can move my shoulder and it doesn't hurt anymore. Now from here down, I couldn't move my arm, but I could move my shoulder. Within a 1.5 weeks, I had full range of motion in my arm, and I have no pain in both shoulders. So, and all of that happened within 1 month. So all my foot pain and my shoulder pain all gone. And for ladies, for gentlemen that, you're laying in your bed and you might just have those achy pains as you're laying in bed and your joints just ache. Well, that's even gone out of my body. Like I just feel good and I have energy. I go all day long, and there's people younger than me that cannot even keep up with us. So we've gotten a whole lot more done. We've been so much more productive.
After listening to your testimony with your hip.
You got it.
And then you.
Yes.
You guys are like a whole automobile,
yes.
Refurbished over there.
Yes. And I know that my thyroid's being worked on. Like I can tell that my body is continuing continuing to always get better and better. So it's been so fun, and it never gets old helping people. You know, when you pray for people and God miraculously heals them right there, that's amazing. But we've been able to also, those people that still are having those aches and pains and those sicknesses and diseases that they're dealing with in their body, they're able to get this therapy, and they start seeing get their life back. That's what's exciting. If people are getting their life back, they're having to stop saying no to the things that they love, and they're getting to say yes to the things that God has called them to do and to carry on their race. Amen. So that to me is super exciting.
Amen. I have a question though.
Yes.
So when it comes to receiving level 10 matrix, because that's what we're talking about, right? We're in the show, level10matrix.com. Go check it out. How does that work? So you receive the therapy, and then you're saying like progressively you're getting better. With my mom and her testimony, she started to get better and better and better.
Yes.
So how does that work, you guys? After you receive level 10 matrix, you know, because people are home probably wondering, well, what happens? Well, how does that actually evolve over time?
Well, one of the things that happens is there's an initial release intravenously of the therapy into your body. And within 3.5 to 4 minutes, that therapy is going through everywhere in your body. It's going past the blood-brain barrier, and it's addressing the degeneration in your body, because your body's throwing out an inflammatory signal wherever there's breakdown. And so the stem cells are attracted to that inflammation, and they start working to build, grow, repair, and even create new tissue.
Yes.
We have x-ray evidence of people that have had a knee that literally has no more cartilage in it. 90 days later after receiving therapy, they have evidence of new cartilage in their knee, and their pain is gone. Now, some people will be like, how could that be possible? There's no cartilage there. Well, what people need to understand is that stem cells took your body from one cell, a fertilized egg in your mother's womb, to 26 trillion cells. So the same cells that built your body the first time can rebuild your body later on. So they don't just have the ability to regenerate your body, but they can even rebuild tissue. And we see that x-rays and different things that people have. I mean, I really believe that's what happened with my hip. I don't have the x-ray evidence of it, but my hip is completely better. On top of that, I went back to my eye doctor, and I'd had the same eye doctor for 15 years, Lance, and he was really in a hurry all the time. You know, comes in, does his thing, goes out, and he picked up his light to look in my eyes, and he has his headgear on. He looks in my eyes, and this is a year after I got therapy. He looks in my eyes and he goes, "Your eyes look so young." And I just yeah, and I just kind of chuckled. Yeah, I kind of chuckled. And he's leaving the exam room, and he says this. He just says this as he's walking out. "I wish all my patients' eyes looked as young as yours did." And I said, "Well, I got umbilical cord stem cell therapy. I got the matrix." And he just looked at me and just kind of went, psh, and just walked out. And what I found is, unfortunately, that there isn't a lot of education for physicians in med school. They're not focusing on this.
No, I know that.
On this at all.
This is so true. My wife's dad is a doctor.
Yes.
And they're old school. Yeah. And it was like everything is done with surgery or a pill.
Yes.
And they would frown on. Annabelle got her back fixed with chiropractic. It's like, oh, it's not medical because that's not surgical. You know, they had a real condescension to it. So, but what Kennedy is saying is, hey man, from stem cells to chelation to ivermectin to hydroxy to exercise to, to food based, vitamins and stuff. There is a revolution out there, and stem cells is certainly at the very forefront of it, because the stem cells is the building component for the body. I've got a staff guy. Now, we do this with our staff. We believe in this. I do the therapy. My wife does it. I get my kids to do it. Chris is one of the guys on our team, one of our directors.
Chris is the guy that, as we cut to you or to me or to Jason Kennedy, Chris is the guy
Chris
cutting.
Chris is back there doing the cutting.
He's doing the cutting right now.
He's directing us right now.
Right now. In real time.
I haven't heard his story yet. So Chris, play your story. Let's hear it.
Hi there. My name is Chris Tice. And prior to receiving Level 10 Matrix, I was dealing with a lot of sciatica issues. I was months in physical therapy, and I was seeing some progress, but nothing like what I saw after I had received the Level 10 Matrix. My healing just sped up incredibly. I felt 10, 20 years younger, even to the point where me and some buddies went out on the ocean in a boat, and we had a big old inner tube, and we're all in our 60s. So no one else was going to get in the inner tube. I was like, no, I'm going. I'm going to have a blast. I felt so good. Had so much fun going 55 miles an hour for 5 minutes on that inner tube. I felt like I was a teenager again. And I wouldn't have had the confidence to do so if it wasn't for Level 10 Matrix. Thank you guys so much for what you're doing. I would definitely recommend this to anybody that's dealing with any health issues or just my age. It's just really good. It's incredible how it makes you feel. And just all kinds of benefits from it. So I would highly recommend Level 10 Matrix for you and anybody you know. Trust me, once you do it, you're going to want everybody you know to know about it. I've already talked to my brother and sister, and they're getting it done. So it's very exciting what's going on. Thank you guys so much.
I want to have a video clip of him, and then I went out with my friends. I'm 55 years old, and I got on the back of that tire. He goes flying out, and then we have him walk out with like a cast on and say, and I really tell Level 10 Matrix, I'm getting ready for my next therapy. You shouldn't be flying around at 55 at 50 miles an hour off the back of a ramp, Chris.
No, I think he said he was 60. He was going 55 miles an hour.
Oh no, it's even crazier. 60 going 55. And here he goes. That's why I want to get him coming out with it. It'd be hilarious.
It'd be so funny.
Like
but then a week later, he would have the cast off because he would bounce back a lot faster.
That's right. He bounced back a lot fast, like me, man. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
That's
because, you're never going to keep me down. So these testimonies are wild. And I got Betty mixed up in the last one. I started bringing Betty's testimony in. But this is wild.
This Betty's testimony is just phenomenal. So we were in California last year, and Betty came to one of our educational seminars, and she's in there, and she learns about this, and she's like, I want to get this. So eventually she ended up getting the therapy. She got the Matrix. And Betty's situation was she's 99 years old. Okay, so 99, just to be alive at 99 is phenomenal. 99. But at 90 years old, she was actually diagnosed treated by an oncologist with serious disease. And so at 99, she gets therapy, and we go back to LA about 3 months later to do another meeting, and Betty's there. And we get to the testimony portion of the meeting where people get a chance to share what the Matrix has done for them. And Betty nearly interrupts us all because she's like, I want to tell my story, and I hadn't heard it yet. And Betty says, okay, I got the Matrix, and then I felt so good, I went to Hawaii to the beach for 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks at the beach at 99 years old. But even better than that, she had a big tumor under her arm. The tumor shrank down and disappeared. And the day before our meeting, she'd went to her doctor, got a full blood panel, and he said, we can find no evidence of the disease you suffered with for 9 years. You're completely disease-free. And about a week later, Betty turned 100 years old, and she's doing great. And so I'm like, Betty, you are my hero.
Exciting.
You're 100 years old. You're on the beach in Hawaii. You're, completely, everything's reversed that was going on in your body, and you feel amazing. This is phenomenal.
That could be you. Hey, listen, I know people out there, look at you crawling around in your young self. There are people out there that aren't living their life on the beach, and you're a lot younger than 100. Mm-hmm. So look, go to level10matrix.com, 800-361-2270. Certainly you want to get the stem cells made simple. Mm-hmm. And you recognize what I'm finally realizing, that the building blocks for the cellular regeneration, whatever you want to call it, of your basic components of your body are in those stem cells. And the stem cells, when they're in your body, like my daughter's about to have a baby, her umbilical cord is supplying all that fresh life. And after that baby's born, the umbilical cord has in it, like the blood that is there, if I'm getting this right, that is like teeming with stem cell multiplication power. And what we do is, I guess, with Level 10 Matrix, that's the origin from where those stem cells go through a process where they're, so purified or whatever, so that any kind of stuff that could possibly be in the blood system is removed, so that you're getting the pure, potent power of creative life at the very point from the presence of God into the womb, into the life that comes out into that baby. Bam! It begins to just go to work on the inside of you. All I can tell you is, there's an intelligence that is there. When I received the therapy, Some people like direct it, like when I've been with different athletes and people like that, they have it work on a shoulder, on a knee. I just have it. I just take it and let it go wherever the body needs it.
Yes.
Because I find that my body knows where it needs it
Yes.
better than I do. I don't know everything going on inside of me.
No.
And so,
and they go into your body and they triage. So they're better than a diagnosis.
yeah, because they go in there and do their own inspection.
Yes.
And Mercedes, if people aren't having a chronic health problem, this is also something which they do in a what's the word, in a preventative way too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we see that time and time again. I mean, I think even for myself, just my eyesight got better. And I think it's just all about choosing to prioritize your health and making the right choices all along the path. And what's great about, I think, the level 10 matrix is that, it fights against degeneration. And when we talk about level 10 living a lot. Like we have our whole level 10 course. And I just had this aha like a few months ago where I realized the level 10, we do level 10 because it comes from John 10:10, where Jesus said, I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. And the level 10 life is the regenerated life. It's regenerating the inner spirit man. It's regenerating the mind, how we think, right? When we read the word of God, it regenerates it. And it's regenerated wellness. It's how we're living our lives. And so, I'm always floored by the testimonies that we see. I remember Coletti from a few weeks ago, Dr. Darcy's mom, my mom, and I'm just constantly in awe of what God's able to do through life-saving, life-giving technology like this. Like I still don't understand it to this day. I've resigned myself to it. I don't need to understand. I just know I need to tell you about it. And so if you're watching at home, this might be your missing piece, and maybe it's right now. Right now you need to invest in yourself. Right now you need to go to the website, level10matrix.com.
If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Instagram, put Matrix down, write it down in the commentary.
Yeah, get the information booklet that we have there. Stem cells made simple. Answer your questions.
We got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I can't believe this time's gone by. I need to know about Paul and Julie. I asked you about them.
Yes.
What's the deal with Paul and Julie?
Oh my goodness, this is an amazing story. Julie dealt with 30 years of degenerative discs in her neck. She was told 30 years ago she needed neck surgery. Well, she had 4 little children at the time, and she had had other friends that had had that same surgery, and they still had pain. So she was like, I can't afford right now to do that because I've got 4 little children to raise. And so time went on. She just stayed in chronic pain. Pain got worse. The last 10 years, so she's in her 50s now. The last 10 years, she developed bulging discs from lifting. She was diagnosed with arthritis, and almost every joint in her body hurt. So it just kept getting worse. Many kidney infections, which resulted in her taking many antibiotics several times a year, bad night vision, low energy. So like so many people, she had to limit all of her activities, and she had to miss out on a lot of family fun. But let me just tell you what happened after therapy. She increased her energy increased. After 3 months, she noticed less pain and more days without pain. After 4 to 5 months, less pain and more days in a row with no pain. At the 9-month mark, complete pain-free in her back. And this is how she found it out. She had to jump in the car to go do an emergency check on some parents back in another state. It was an 11-hour drive. And she just jumped in the car. They didn't have any brakes. And she got all the way there and was pain-free. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't believe it. Came all the way back home, pain-free. That had not happened in 25 years. After about 3 months, no more arthritis pains in her joints. Her kidneys are totally healed.
Come on, man.
Her night vision is totally clear, and she can see perfectly driving at night now. Her dentist, this is really interesting. Her dentist commented on her enamel in her teeth. That's right. There's people that they have improvement in their teeth. I've even heard of teeth getting more sharp again because, over the years, your teeth can grind down and get more flat, so they're not chewing your food up as they should. Well, her dentist made a comment about her enamel, and he said, it looks great. What did you do? She said, stem cells. 6 months after therapy, no pain. She was wearing orthotics for years. Her feet had pain. 6 months after therapy, no more foot pain, and she was able to wear her heels again and cute shoes again. So now she daily is getting to run again. So here she is in her later 50s, and she's getting to run again, work out, stay active with her adult children. She's getting to say yes to life again and not be in pain. I think that's pretty exciting. And her husband,
You got a picture
Paul,
of them? Do you guys have a picture of them before and after,
before
Paul and
afters.
Julie?
They look
See
amazing.
if you can get it in here for us to see. It's image 9. There we go. Yeah, you can
Look
see
at that before and after.
You can see that.
Amazing.
Looks like he got something too.
Yes. Paul had plantar fasciitis pain for 12 years. He had countless injections, therapies. He was on several pain medications, and he had 3 surgeries between both feet at one period of time. Pain always returned a couple of months after surgery and treatment. He was never able to stand for more than 20 minutes without excruciating pain. In the morning, he literally had to crawl. There's another crawling incident because his feet were so bad when he got out of bed, he couldn't stand on them. He couldn't have any pressure on his feet. He had to crawl to the restroom. Few weeks after having this amazing matrix in his body, he stood for over 4 hours. No pain. 1 year after stem cells, his heels improved so much he didn't have any pain. He can once again be active, go hiking, stand, and walk with no pain. 2 years after therapy and still doing great. No pain at all.
And that's level10matrix.com, 800-361-2270. And I believe for some of you that are watching right now, this is providential. You got someone in your life that has this chronic agony of not being able to live the life that they want. Get the booklet, make the phone call, get the information. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Mm-hmm. Just dial the number or go to the website. Take your little finger. That's all you got to do. And watch what happens next. This is Lance Wallnau, Mercedes Sparks, signing off. See you tomorrow.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because